Christmas Eve. Opening day is tomorrow. We are Pee Wee Reese days away from Dodger baseball. One more sleep, Dodgers Nation. We've got the opening day roster. Also, we're going to preview the season with a guest. And Dodgers fans are mad about this. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade! We got it, Parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series! Starts the 50-50 clock! Monkey Magic! Freeman hits the ball, right field! She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
You gotta knock him out!
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. It is the eve of opening day. This show is brought to you by GearUp.LA and the LA Sports Report. Let's get excited, Dodgers Nation. The road to a three-peat officially begins tomorrow. Today's Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, do you have an issue with the Dodgers selling the naming rights to their field? Hashtag Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium. So you guys can chime in on that. Let's see what the poll results are, because I saw Dodgers fans. Some were very unhappy about this. We had the unveiling there. Our boy Noel was out in force checking it out. So, yeah, definitely give your comments on that. So much to get into, though. I can't believe it. It's almost here. This is it. Tomorrow, Dodger Stadium, Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the bump. The Dodgers on their quest for 3. So much to get into in the world of Dodger baseball, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the hottest story in Dodger baseball is that Uniqlo is the on-field sponsor at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers fans were not thrilled about it, but you see for yourself. What was your reaction to this? What was your reaction to seeing Dodger Stadium in the field have Uniqlo everywhere? Here, give a look at the sign that you're going to see in the outfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium. As we invite everybody.
So you see it there, and then you also see it in between third base and home plate. The Uniqlo Field, there's the Uniqlo logo, says Uniqlo there. And that one, it's pretty big. It's pretty sizable. The one that a lot of Dodgers fans are upset about is it being right here, right above where the reserve seats are. The big Dodgers sign, you see it under here for Uniqlo. So look, my number one first take on this is it doesn't matter what the naming rights are for the field. You're always going to call it Dodger Stadium. You never even called it a field before. It was never a field before this. They sold naming rights to something that essentially didn't even exist and no one even really talks about, right? I mean, no one's ever calling a field at a stadium separately than that. So there's that. And then the other thing you need to know is it could be worse. You need Crypto.com Arena at the Staples Center floor, or whatever they're calling it these days. And 3, the biggest number one thing is that you know that if the Dodgers are profiting and making money off something, that money is being reinvested into this team. It'd be one thing if the Dodgers were selling all these naming rights, but they weren't reinvesting and you didn't have the best roster. This is another example of an organization that's trying to maximize profits because they are spending a ton of money. This is a roster that has a player on it that signed a $700 million deal. Yes, with the deferred money, you're at $463. You got Kyle Tucker just signed a record deal, 4 years, $240, $60 million per year. Mookie Betts, 12 years, $365. Freddie Freeman, 6 years, $162. Yamamoto's the highest paid pitcher of all time as far as the overall length and the cost of the contract, $325 million. Blake Snell, $182 million. They gave a $140 million extension to Will Smith. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is a roster this season that after the penalties, because they go past the CBT every single year, the highest threshold, that it's going to cost them $500 million. A $500 million roster. That's how expensive this roster is. So when I see Uniqlo, I see players. I see elite talent. I see a roster that has MVPs and a Cy Young and future Hall of Famers and a team that could go down as the most talented roster in the history of Major League Baseball. So I have no issue with this at all whatsoever, just because I know it's always going to be Dodger Stadium to you and to myself. We never called the field a thing in the first place, and that this is an organization that is committed to winning. Hey, someone's got to pay for Yamamoto. Someone's got to pay for Shohei Ohtani. And if it's the field that we're not going to even kind of think about, then I'm totally fine with that. Look, even if they sold the naming rights to Dodger Stadium, it wouldn't bug me. I mean, what they could do is they could just sell it to Dodge, the car company, and you wouldn't even notice it, right? It'd be like Dodger Stadium. You wouldn't even know the difference. You wouldn't even see the difference. Dodger Stadium, right? It's Chavez Ravine. It's Dodger Stadium. Wrigley Field's Wrigley Field. I mean, to me, I think this is not something that upsets me in any way, shape, or form. And look, it's only the beginning. I mean, the truth is, when do we go? My dream is to have the Dodgers Dugout sponsored by Dodgers Dugout. The Dodgers Dugout sponsored by Dodgers Dugout with Doug McKain. I want to see the Hot Corner sponsored by Hot Pockets, right? First Base sponsored by Capital One. I mean, there's all these possibilities there. But let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Are you upset about this? Are you not happy about the fact that this stadium has sold its field naming rights to Uniqlo? Cash that check, says Javi. What's up, BC? Uniqlo by Miklo. What? Miklo, blood in, blood out. All-time classic, Andy Chen. Seen the movie probably 7 or 8 times. Tony, or Richard. What's up, Richard? My man, $4.99 super chat. It's disgusting. Absolutely BS. Nothing but a money grab. It's a slap in the face to Dodger Stadium. My dad was a construction worker when they built it. I don't think this changes anything about everyone that went in to build the stadium and that grew up in the stadium. I mean, I'm born and bred too, right? I mean, I've been to Dodgers games my entire life. I don't think it's that egregious. Like, I could see the reaction and understand it if Dodger Stadium was Uniqlo Stadium, like, there would be an absolute backlash beyond belief. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. I know I was joking about the Dodger Stadium and the Dodge thing. Yes, you can't do that. But the field, I mean, what did we call the field before? The field? Right? I mean, there was a sponsor on the mound at times. It's not like we ever called the field anything. It's not like we're ever going to be like, hey, oh, guys, look, you're here with your friends and family. Oh, there's the Uniqlo field. There's the field. Just call it the field. Like, I think this is a really interesting way just to get a sponsor and a lot of money for something that wasn't even sponsored before. But, hey, I respect it. If you're upset about it, we can have a different opinion. Too red for my taste. I see Dodgers Stadium. We've got Jose Villanueva Field at Dodger Stadium. I like it. We only see Dodger Stadium. D-Mac, what's up, Brianna? Our Korean Ice shirt. D-Mac, thank you. You guys ready for a post game tomorrow from the stadium for the first time since the World Series? I'm excited about that. Ramsell, wow, you remember those numbers. What's up, DMAX Stadium? I like that, Jose. I'm excited to watch Kyle Tucker. Yeah, what's the number one thing you're most... yeah, the Giants lose. Duh, Giants lose. Fun fact, the Giants are on pace to go 0-162. One game into the year, and SF already stands for season finish. I love it. We got some more here. Joe Rodriguez, no issue with naming rights, but more and more fans are being priced out of going to games. Since when are Tuesday games against Cleveland for $200 for reserve sections? Yeah, I mean, look, that's a really good point. I mean, that absolutely is... It's kind of the bigger thing. It's just the affordability of a Dodger game is very, very different these days. By the way, the poll I have about do you have an issue with the Dodgers selling the naming rights, 38% say yes, 62% say no. So 38. So most fans don't have a problem with it as far as that poll goes. But you're right. As far as the price and what it is going to cost there, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is very... My guy, Michael Duarte, he tweeted something about that the other day. Here's Michael Duarte's tweet. Dodgers 2026 opening day game tomorrow is the most expensive game in all of Major League Baseball. It's also the most expensive home opener on record with an average price of $392, 55% more expensive than the home opener last season, $252. The current get-in price is $178. The Dodgers' average ticket price this season is $148, highest in Major League Baseball. Yeah, I mean... someone's got to pay for the roster for sure. I mean, hey, that it's a price. It's a place to be. It's an event. It's an event. It is a place to go. It's an event, and that is definitely something where it's yeah. I mean, I remember being a kid, and you go with your summer camp, and you'd all be wearing the same like turquoise shirt, and you sit up in the reserves on a hot day. It seems like those days are gone, and hey, that's what happens when you win and when you create a product that people are willing to pay for. I mean, the fact is they charge that price, and the truth is, a lot of this money goes to the aftermarket, and the Dodgers aren't getting any of that. The Dodgers aren't getting the profits of the aftermarket, but ticket prices are expensive for sure. DMAC Field at Dodger Stadium. See, now that would be amazing. Imagine doing a shoey on DMAC Field at Dodger Stadium for the World Series win. Listen, okay, Ron Fig, I like this. Lasorda Field at Vin Stadium. That's interesting because at Pauley Pavilion, they have the John Wooden Court. It would be a great way to pay tribute to someone. The Vin Scully press box would be pretty awesome for sure. That sign stinks. Showtime Field at Dodgers Stadium. It's still called, this is from Hey Bro, Truth Hurts. It's still called Dodger Stadium. People getting mad are so dumb. Hey, let people get mad, man. Like, it's all good. I hope you guys appreciate that this is the show where we don't always have to have the same opinions and be on the same page. And I want this to be your outlet for all your thoughts about the Dodgers all season long. I hope you guys know that there's a reason why when I built this show that but the biggest thing for me in the post game was to make sure that the comments were on the screen, because if you don't disagree, I like it if there's someone there where it disagrees with me, right? I know a lot of shows they don't have that, so that's always the most important thing for me. DMAC, did you pick up any of the gold trim Dodgers jerseys yet? Brianna Rochelle, I did not get my Dodgers trim jersey yet because I can't find the one that I'm looking for. I'm assuming it's because this player was all sold out, and of course, you know I'm talking about. I need a number 23 Michael Conforto Gold Edition jersey. If you've seen a Dodgers World Series Gold Edition jersey, number 23 Michael Conforto, get me an XL. I'll Venmo you. I'll Zelle you. I'll send you a money order. I'll send you a check from my grandma. Like, just whatever it is. No, I have not gotten my Michael Conforto one yet. Beat the D-backs. I love that. Brianna, with gas prices high, everyone will walk or Uber to Dodgers Stadium. We got $1.1 billion in revenue. Doesn't come cheap. Exactly. Over $1 billion in revenue. And that's how they're doing it. Yankees and Blue Jays lose. The Yankees actually won tonight. Really good start from Max Fried. D-Mac, are you buying the new gold jersey and the cap? $199 from Rick Keller. If it beats Japan's Banana Republic field, here we go. Where's the Conforto tattoo? Yeah, La Puente in the house. What up, Pablo? Fun fact, my dad, who's also named Doug McKain, who's actually in the hospital, but is out, which is a great thing. He went to La Puente High School, played baseball there, would sneak into Dodgers games back in the day. Good times. Big in those 80s teams. The Conforto jerseys at Ross for Andy Chen. Yeah, I love it. eBay selling the Conforto one. I'm telling you. Exactly. We're never going to call it the field, that field. Linwood says, I'm going to the game. Hopefully I see OG D-Mac and he buys me a torta. Yeah, I'm going to be at the game tomorrow. See you guys there. I will be walking around the concourse for sure. $5. First sign is classy, but the second is trashy and tacky, 100%. Yeah, everyone hates that second one. Talking about the one above the reserves. Awesome. All right, guys. So, my man Tim Rogers from the Blue Madness Experience joining me today to preview Dodger baseball. We're going to get into the roster. And then we'll be back later, talk some more. But yeah, give me your comments down below. Yes or no? Do you have a problem with it? What would you have rather have seen the field name be? What would you have rather seen it be? Let me know down below. But let's get to my interview. My man, Tim Rogers, one of the great Dodgers ball knowers in the game. Let's get into it. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. And tonight, the eve of opening day, I've got my man, Mr. Tim Rogers. If you don't follow him on X. Also subscribe to his YouTube channel, Blue Madness Dodgers 2080. Tim, does this feel like Christmas Eve to you? Because it certainly feels that way to me.
Oh, it always does. Last week, I've been saying, hey, I'll be out Thursday for the national holiday. Let's be honest. Come on, man. Today doesn't count. And Aaron Judge went 0 for 5. Good job. Yeah, it's opening day. I mean, and it's how exciting is this? I mean, we got the 2-time world champs coming back. We've got, I tell you this, though, Miguel Rojas better be in that lineup.
Absolutely.
I don't care about anything else. He has to be in the lineup. But, you know, he deserves his ovation. And if Vesey gets in, tears from all over the place. But, yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, geez Louise. We got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Oh, my gosh. Still get chills thinking about the 3-0 World Series that he had.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, first of all, I love the shot of Aaron Judge. I'll throw a shot at the Giants. SF equals season finish on pace to go 0-162 after losing to the Yankees tonight. But look, you bring up a really good point, Tim, that I didn't really even think about until just now. And that is that, yes, there was the parade. And the parade is always great. Yes, there's the championship ceremony at Dodger Stadium. But let's not forget they won Game 7 on the road. And this will be the first game that we get to celebrate that team in-house at Dodger Stadium. And you touched on a couple of the emotional points of it. There's the Yoshinobu Yamamoto, World Series hero, World Series MVP. There's the Alex Vesia angle to it. First time back after the tragedy that he went through, him and his family and his wife. And then Miguel Rojas. And I think I'm really looking forward to Miguel Rojas tomorrow, because I told this to Tom Verducci early on during spring training. I said, look, Miguel Rojas is walking around this camp a little differently these days, with his shoulders pushed back, his chest puffed out. And every time that Miguel Rojas would walk through that tunnel where you get the autograph seekers, it would be loud. There would be cheers. It wasn't always like that for Miguel Rojas. And for him to get his flowers for being the hero, I've already said it. I said it minutes after that game. That was the most important home run in Dodgers franchise history, because I think it saved the dynasty. We can debate that all we want, but I'm really excited to see him have his moment tomorrow at Dodger Stadium.
Absolutely. The guy has three legendary plays for the Dodgers, and all of them is number 72. 2014, saving the Kershaw no-hitter. Of course, that the most important home run in Dodger history. More I think about it, and I contemplate this a lot. It is not close. And I was around for Gibson and all that type of stuff. And then, of course, that play in the 9th inning, that hop he took and then getting the guy out by, they say 3 feet is what it actually was. But dang, he's a legend.
And you can even include a fourth play if you include the double play to end Game 6. Kike, the way that he handled it with those soft hands. So, yeah, he was all over it.
Hits that ball.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, those soft hands and those instincts and the connection, quite frankly, with him and Kike Hernandez to make that play. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome to be able to relive the World Series tomorrow. And also, too, as a fellow Jersey fanatic, as someone who loves uniforms, 10 out of 10 no notes for this year's version of the Gold Edition jerseys, because you got the Dodgers logo in blue, you get the red numbers outlined in gold. Different from last year, was gold as the Dodgers word mark, and then not enough Dodger blue. These are going to fly off shelves. You're not going to see these sitting all season long like we did last year at Dodger Stadium. I believe I saw on your social media you already got a Yamamoto, and I think that had to be the pick, right? You got to go with, okay, we've got, oh my goodness, that is just to throw the word out. That's gorgeous. Like,
exactly,
that is perfection.
That's exactly my thought. And oh
my goodness.
Oh yeah,
you did it right, Mr. Rogers.
Heck yeah.
I mean, that. So is that thing is that thing too pretty to wear?
I'm wearing it Friday.
You're wearing it Friday. Okay.
So my wife, we got her a customized Yamamoto, also female version, but it's not the gold, but it does have the kanji on the back.
That's such a banger. And I'm upset because I haven't bought one yet because they're not making one. They don't have one available for the player that I want. I want
Number
a Michael
72.
Conforto one. No, I want a Michael Conforto one. Give me a Michael. Come on. If Michael Conforto gets a ring.
I know. Well, he won't be at the stadium, but for the ring ceremony. But then again, neither will Hae-Sung Kim. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. Let's jump into the roster because, it's funny that you mentioned that because I remember calling you in Arizona, driving back, and every time I call Tim, it's like there's never really a hey, hello, how's it going? He gets right into it.
Get right into it, man.
And I was like, Tim, Hae-Sung Kim making the opening day roster. Alex Freeland kind of breathed down his neck and this and that. And you cut me off. You're like, okay, fine, but Miguel Rojas better be the opening day starting second baseman. And I was like, you know what? I'm mad at myself for not thinking that. I mean, it's all big picture roster stuff. And then you made such a fantastic point is that, yeah, who cares, right? After who gets the majority of the playing time, Miguel Rojas better be at 2B tomorrow to start things off.
Exactly. And when they did the jerseys, 72 was not there. That sucks.
That's very telling. That's very, very telling.
Yeah. They just don't get it. Yeah, it is what it is. However, he, like you said, he deserves his flowers. You brought about how we get into it real quick. I don't know if you're probably not old enough, but when Tommy Hearns fought Marvin Hagler, man, that bell rang and they fought until the fight was over, like in the third round. I mean, it was one of the greatest fights of all time. They just came in and went brawl. That's like how we start talking, man. It's like, hey, we're talking Dodgers. We're going at it, but man,
I'm always very conscientious of people's time. So I'm going to try to get as many things I can in a short amount of time, or how much time I get. But when you look at this roster, though, and there's not very many surprises, especially after we got word that Alex Freeland was going to get that spot over Hae-Sung Kim, and we know that Kim certainly is a player that they're high on. They guaranteed him $12.5 million. Last season, he was on the postseason roster, was only used as a pinch runner, scored the run in Game 4, was also in there in the final play of the game. So defensively, we know that they feel like he's Gold Glove caliber. Pinch runner, they know he has that in his bag. The only thing he needs to prove this organization is that he can hit big league pitching consistently, avoid the high strikeout rates, avoid the chase rates, and just get on base and provide a high quality at bat at the bottom of that order. And to me, when you kind of look at it, and yes, you look at Alex Freeland's numbers, they weren't great. but the walks, the at-bat quality, they just feel like right now Freeland's going to give them a better at-bat than Kim is going to get them. But Tim, do you think that this was the wrong decision? Because it makes you wonder, can Kim develop better and more at the big league level where he can face big league pitching, or you got to give him the 6 games a week and the maximum plate appearances? I think it's a no-brainer when you look at it. And I think, to me, this says that they have a lot of confidence in the big picture with Kim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a few things, right? Of course, my initial reaction was this kind of sucks just on merit. You look at that and you go, and it's coming at it. I'm looking at it because what's the normal fan going to think? You look at the numbers and you go, wait, this guy versus that guy. Well, of course it's Kim. However, I look at it and go, okay, well, if they really want to turn him into a valuable player, that means he gets the work at shortstop, means he gets the work in center field. He's going to get that work at OKC. He does need to cut down on those strikeouts. It's just way too high. What was it, 30% last year?
Yeah, just about 30%.
Yeah, that's just too much. And so if he can do that and fix that a bit and become a versatile guy and be a guy that he can play all over the place, it'd be great. Freeland, I understand it. Freeland, I mean, the dude, in some ways, outside chance, 30-30 type guy. That's an outside chance. But he played a really good second base for the Dodgers last year. He looked pretty decent even at third. And there is higher upside. So, okay, I get it. It doesn't mean I have to, go, oh, but I get it. I can definitely play the two sides of the story with this scenario. And so I wish though that Kim was going to be there for the ring ceremony and then do whatever you want afterwards. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a young player, right? And sometimes that's the case. And he signed up for this, right? I mean, if he was able to sign with other teams, and it shocked a lot of people, pretty much everyone in the baseball world, that he ended up signing with the Dodgers, right? I remember thinking about the Braves, and there was other teams that were in the mix, and you didn't hear anything. There was not anyone out there that predicted that Ha-Seong Kim was ultimately going to sign with the Dodgers. Absolutely. But he did that because he felt like this was the organization that was going to challenge him, that was going to develop him into the best player that he could be. Because bottom line, this is all going to either lead him to making the most of the opportunity when he gets it, or if he fails, it's going to be like a James Outman situation, right? Where it's like, hey, like if he cannot give you competitive at-bats at the big league level, he's not going to stick around. And I look at what Aaron Bates was telling everyone and the development of Kim during spring training. And he said that his swing was too twisted. That was the word that he used. And he talked a lot about focusing on the legs and just using that strength to keep his spine and torso and everything in line, right?
Yeah.
So
all torqued up.
So the thing is, that's pretty there's a lot of moving parts there, right? Torso, your spine, the twisting. So I think that they just want to see that and have him break those bad habits as quickly as possible. And he can accelerate and expedite his development by doing that at the minor league level. So I guarantee they're going to be watching his at-bats like a hawk and seeing if he's either reverting to those bad habits, if he's gone past those bad habits. And I think for me, this is almost a vote of confidence to how they feel about Kim. Because I think, quite frankly, if they thought that Kim was just this lottery ticket type of guy who, hey, if it works fine, I think they would have said to themselves, hey, we are going to break camp with him on the opening day roster. We are going to give him some runway. And if he doesn't do well in 50 to 70 at-bats, that'll be that. We won't see him again for the rest of the year. This tells me that when he comes up, yes, you got Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez are going to come back and Santiago Espinal. It's going to be very competitive, but let's not forget, this is the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? This is a meritocracy on this team. He's got it's not going to be easy. It will not be easy. But when he does get an opportunity, because it's a long season and guys get injured, he's got to hit. And I don't think that having him on the opening day roster would have given him the best chance to hit.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. Like I said, I see two sides of this very easily. And let's get back to it. It's about October. It's all about October.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, let's do and on my we did a little private membership thing last night on my channel, and it was brought up, why did the Dodgers even sign him? And I go, Because the Dodgers stack talent. You just you see talent, you acquire talent. And Hae-Sung Kim is a talented player. He has some skills, and hopefully they can capitalize on some of those other skills that, well, the hitting. I mean, and we know the dude's a stud. He's strong. But his swing is out of a singles hitter, but I don't know. His back's coming out, and all. It is a little crazy for what it should be. I'd like to see it more compact. But Freeland's there's a reason he's a high prospect. There's a reason the Dodgers like him. He's never really dazzled in the minors. He has never hit 320 with 58 home runs or anything like that. But he's just seems to be okay. The guy's got some speed. He's got some power. He can handle the glove. Like I said, I was really happy with his glove work last year with the Dodgers. It was, considering he'd only played about 10 games in OKC before he came up, and I don't even remember him playing second hardly at all. Pretty impressive.
So that's interesting, because I mean, that's the thing about Freeland. It's like, as you mentioned, there's never been that long stretch where he's really wowed offensively. I mean, he did have some moments last year, hit a home run in San Diego, hit one in Colorado. You definitely saw him gain some confidence, but I don't think the Dodgers are looking for something from him at the plate like they're looking for Kim. They want Kim to just be able to use those legs and be more squared up and be in a better position to hit, versus Freeland, like, hey, not that he's a finished product or anything like that, but there's just not a lot of tricky new things that he's working on to be able to elevate him. And I think too that the Dodgers, they like the versatility of Kim, they like the versatility of Freeland, but let's be honest here. I mean, both of these guys are going to have a tough time carving out a long-term role this season for this team if everyone's healthy, right? So like the perfect world is Tommy Edman comes back and he's your everyday second baseman, and that ankle's absolutely healed and he plays at a Gold Glove level. I don't think people are talking of just about what a healthy version of Tommy Edman could look like as your number 8 or 9 hitter.
Oh, exactly. And we saw it in last year's 2024 playoffs. He was such a valuable player. And to be honest with him, I don't want him to be the starting second baseman. I want him to be the old Chris Taylor, Kike Hernandez, starting all over the place. Still basically a regular player, but playing all over, giving guys rest. I mean, Mookie is 33, Muncie's 35. We do have Espinal. I mean, if that guy keeps hitting like he has been, he's going to keep forcing the issue. And maybe he can keep earning more playing time. Maybe he takes over more at second base. It depends. It's going to be interesting to see. Or he might just revert to 2025 Espinal and gets DFA'd later. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of what the Dodgers have kind of done with that part of the roster. As you mentioned, Espinal had OPS over 1,000 during spring training. He was getting doubles, getting home runs, and the strikeouts were cut down. He was taking his free passes. I think what the Dodgers have done is a great thing, because the truth of the matter is there's not competition for your right fielder, really your left fielder, your first baseman, your shortstop, but there is some competition at that part of the roster, and having all of those guys have to attack every single at bat, every single ball that's hit to him, knowing that, hey, yeah, like there's always these great vibes of the Dodgers, the culture, the winning culture is certainly there. There's a competition, man. Like at the end of the day, it's you versus the pitcher. It's you trying to attack the baseball. And I agree with you though on the Tommy Edman point, as far as, yeah, I mean, him platooning with Muncie is an option too. Him at second base. He needs to be in center field as well with Andy Pages. They do not give Tommy Edman a contract like that to just play one position. And I think too, the fact that when he does come back, I feel like the more we see him in center field is more proof that he has gone past that ankle injury. I mean, that ankle has just really, really prevented him from being that player that we know he's capable of being. I mean, last season, he had a below average bat. I told him during FanFest, I was like, hey, I mean, you're down offensively, but defensively, you grade out really well. And he said, I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care about the advanced stuff. I didn't feel like I had a good season defensively either. So this is a guy that's entering the season thinking he was injured, had a down year offensively and defensively. And I think, Tim, that's kind of one of the broader points of this team, is that outside of Shohei and Will Smith, for a team that won back-to-back titles, almost every guy had a down year by their standards offensively on those two guys. And Tommy Edman won. Mookie's won. Muncy, when he was healthy, he was good, but we know how the season started. Even Freddie down. Pajes, Teo. Even if you want to talk about Kyle Tucker getting that monster deal, he had a down year by his standards, which probably limited his options just a little bit. He got the big deal offer from Toronto. But, yeah, I think that's kind of a big subplot this season.
We got Kyle Tucker? I mean, I keep forgetting that sometimes. It's like, oh my God.
Imagine doing a season preview for a team and you don't mention getting the number one free agent in the first 20 minutes. Every single team, that's the very first topic, right?
Exactly. I was about to say that. Yeah, it's almost 20 minutes. We haven't talked about Kyle Tucker. I mean, my gosh. I mean, he just I'm excited about him coming in with the strikeouts and walk ratio, all those good things. Batting behind show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think the thing with Kyle Tucker for me is, as you point out, just the protection, batting behind Shohei Ohtani, getting the big contract, playing for the big market. This is someone that's going to have the spotlight and pressure on him this season. And I think great players respond to pressure and they respond to expectations. And yes, there were expectations in Chicago and Houston, but it's not like in Los Angeles when you sign a $60 million per year contract with a record AAV. And I think the number one thing that I want to see from Kyle Tucker for this offense is a guy that infused it with some youth. And yes, it's not like he's 23 or 24, but we're talking about a guy who's entering his prime. We're not talking about Freddie and Mookie, who we're just hoping can hold on to what's left of their prime, right? Where even if you love what Mookie does when he's right and Freddie, their standard, these are MVPs. So the decline is going to happen. My hope is that we see a trend with Kyle Tucker that we've seen with a lot of Dodgers. And that trend is as good as you were before you joined this team. Your best years came with the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman was that way. Shohei Ohtani's that way. I'll admit 2018 Mookie was better than anything we've seen offensively, but still you got a home run career high for Mookie a couple years ago when he hit 39 bombs. I think with Tucker out to, first of all, have a shortened deal, right? He didn't sign the 10-year deal. He's only guaranteed for 2-year deals. So he's going to want to play 150 plus games. He's going to want to hit 30 plus home runs. He's going to want to have 100 plus RBIs, hit for average, take more walks than strike out. And I think he's going to be the second best hitter on the Dodgers this season. I think that we're going to look back and when it comes to weighted runs created plus and WAR, I think that he is going to have a monster year. I think he's going to finish top 5 in the MVP voting.
Yeah, I actually have that on X somewhere. I think it was replying to Kevin Klein or something like that. Yeah, I said top 5.
Kevin Klein has hot takes, man. And I
know.
I got the show.
Kevin's cool. But yeah, I have Kevin Klein. I have Kyle Tucker is in the top 5. It just makes a lot of sense.
Okay, then you know what? Okay, then now I'm gonna have to just now I feel obligated to say top 2. Okay, now I'm obligated to say top 2. All right,
I'll say that. Violent agreement, huh?
Okay, I'll say he's gonna finish second MVP. How about that?
That'd be cool. Hey, it's just it amazes me that they have him, that they figured it out, but it just shows the Dodgers want to win. They want this dynasty. They want this team to go down as one of the greatest teams of all time. And they're willing to go and say, well, we're just going to hang out and see what happens with Diaz. And what do you know? And then the Kyle Tucker thing, the longer that one, it was either, I thought they were going to get either Bichette or Tucker. Not like, oh yeah, they're going to get one.
Kind of like about.
But they're going to sit there and wait for someone to screw it up.
Where we're
and they just got really aggressive with Tucker. That was amazing. Those 4-240. Wow.
But you bring up such a great point, though, Tim, is yes, they improved the roster with top of the market free agents in Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz, but they got both of those guys at the price and the years per year and just overall that they were looking for. It's not, everyone thinks that they just woke up one day and said, oh, here's 10 years, 375, 400 million for you, Kyle Tucker. Oh, Edwin Diaz, here's a 5-year deal. Okay. That's not what they did. They were patient on both of those guys. Edwin Diaz, 3 years. That's what they were comfortable with. They didn't give him a 4-year, 5-year deal. He could have gotten a 4 or 5 year deal. He wanted to go to the Dodgers for $69 million in 3 years. I remember when we talked to Friedman, and a lot of times he says, "Oh yeah, we were surprised that this happened." This, you could see a look on his face that the Edwin Diaz was a very big surprise that they were able to get. And then Kyle Tucker, it was the deal that we've talked about for so many years before this big spending spree a couple years ago, which was, when are the Dodgers finally going to get that top of the market guy on the position player side to get him to agree to the high AAV deal, but it's not over 5 years. And we saw they were able to pull it off with Trevor Bauer on the pitching side, but this is kind of what we were hoping to get with Bryce Harper, right, in 2018, but we get with Kyle Tucker. And I think when it comes to Tucker too, it's the perfect complement to this lineup, just because you get someone that is platoon neutral. You get someone that improves the team defensively as well, which I think that that's something that is going to be a talking point this season, is Kyle Tucker's athleticism and his ability to play Gold Glove caliber defense, because I'm so sick and tired of people saying, put Mookie Betts back in right field. He ain't going back to right field. And even if he did go back to right field, Kyle Tucker is a better outfielder than Mookie Betts is right now at this stage of their career. So, yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you. I mean, what they were able to do from a roster standpoint after winning back-to-back titles is so impressive. And Tim, Edwin Diaz, you're someone who loves back-end bullpen guys that aren't just great pitchers that put on a show. How excited are you for Edwin Diaz and hearing Timmy trumpets, man?
I swear that's been the song I've played probably the most since he signed. It's really not my genre. But I just get fired up, man. I get fired up. I was trying to get my son to play it when him and his wife got married, for their entrance into the reception. I couldn't get it. But my other one, if he does get married, he probably will. But yeah, I'm fired up about it because, I mean, he brings it. There is an extra flash to him. He's a great pitcher. I not met him, but he was really cool to me in 2017 at the World Baseball Classic. I got a selfie with him back then. So I became a fan of his then and love his stuff. He comes in confident, and I still can't believe we got him for 3 years. That was absolutely amazing. And he wants to, these guys, they want to win. He has a sick, that Met team there was cancer on that team last year. Clearly, I mean, they've emptied a lot of guys out of that, and I just can't believe they let him go. And I think that's why the Dodgers were shocked. I think we were all shocked, but I did about 10 days before he signed. I did have a video about we should just keep your eye on it. You never know.
You're all about it.
Yeah, the Mets screwed up. Unbelievable.
The Mets should have overpaid Edwin Diaz just to keep him away from the Dodgers, period, point blank, and just to flex that Stephen Cohen muscle. But I do want to ask you some questions about Edwin Diaz, because I look at a reliever, and we know the volatility of relievers, and we've seen firsthand what it looks like when a reliever goes from elite to really struggling just from 1 year to the next with Tanner Scott.
Yeah.
And I look under the hood at Edwin Diaz, and yes, you see his 2025 season, saved 28 games, had a 1.63 ERA. That's impressive, but you look under the hood even deeper when it comes to relievers. And basically, I'm trying to foolproof an Edwin Diaz and look at the floor. I mean, he was third in strikeout to walk rate. He was fourth in expected ERA. He was eighth in FIP. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff across the board really supports what he does. Mm-hmm. Any concern for you at all that this is a growing curse, maybe getting an elite reliever to the Dodgers and him struggling maybe just a little bit? Because I think the difference between Diaz and Scott is, you mentioned the walkout song, and we can talk about how great it sounds, how much it gets you hyped up. But I think that on a deeper level there, it also shows that he's a dude that says, yeah, give me the attention. Give me the eyeballs. I want the moment. I performed in New York. Yes. And that's why I think that from a mindset standpoint, that's never going to be a factor this season. So I think the floor of Edwin Diaz is still going to reach very high heights. And I think the ceiling is top 5 reliever.
Yeah, I completely agree. I go back. So my original, my scars start with Don Stanhouse in 1980. The Dodgers signed him after 79. He was terrible and got released. And then, of course, we had Tanner Scott last year. Still don't get. I mean, we have our theories. We've talked about it quite a bit, and who knows now? If it's not fixed now, then we're probably in for trouble with him. But they have enough depth to make up for it. But I do have that shadow of doubt because of the history, and he's kind of an every other guy season. We've seen that too. But still, even his quote bad seasons where it's been not so good, it's still good enough. It's still, it wasn't like Tanner Scott last year, who just, regretfully it all fell apart for him. For Diaz, okay, if he has a 352 and has a few blown saves, but he won't have near as many blown saves as what happened to the team last year. I mean, if the bullpen had done their job, the Dodgers do have the best record. Everything was set for them to do that. They would have won 100 games. But
yeah, I remember Edwin Diaz, he blew that save against the Dodgers in 2019 when Alex Verdugo hit the walk-off. Remember? I mean, the point is relievers blow saves occasionally. But what I love about the Edwin Diaz addition, too, is it feels like, yes, he's $69 million for 3 years, but if him taking over that role full time and excelling in that role means that Tanner Scott is more comfortable in his role, it's almost like getting 2 for 1. If his presence helps Tanner Scott, that's another reason why that was a fantastic pickup.
Yeah, I mean, Tanner Scott was best when he was used, for more of a specialty guy, not a one lefty guy, but here they come, and it doesn't matter what inning it is, you go use him. But I thought it was just kind of misplaced to go, oh, he's a closer, because I'm not a fan of designated closers, but with this one, I am. With Diaz, yes, for sure, that's your guy. He matches that, and with Scott, let's just hope he can step it up and have a bounce back season. You've seen him more in the locker room, and I feel bad for the guy, man. And if Dodger fans, please, when Tanner Scott enters a game, please I know you can, but don't boo him. That's just don't. He doesn't.
He got heckled so bad at FanFest. I felt so bad. He got heckled really hard. I think the thing about Tanner Scott is they have a game plan on. He's living too much in the zone. I think for him, it's just getting back to missing bats off the plate and getting that chase and just getting that confidence. But yeah, I mean, look, you're right. I wanted fans to support him, and absolutely. But this is the Dodgers, right? Yep. And that's the role. And I think that for Tanner Scott, I want him to embrace the Dodgers and the fan base as much as you want the fan base to embrace him. And
yeah,
maybe he needs to come up with a wild walkout song or have a moment. Because look, I will say this: if I'm Tanner Scott, like when they played the Padres last year, and Tanner Scott and Shohei got hit in the back, right? If Scott was in that game, he needs a moment like that where it's like, look, I'm throwing out a Padre, right? He needs a Joe Kelly moment where overnight the fan base just loves him, and then they never look back. And the best way to get the fan base to love you, though, without doing anything theatrical or any antics, is just to be really, really good. And that's really going to be what it comes down to for him. So I think a big first month where he's having a lot of success. He's getting back to the guy he was with the Marlins and the Padres. You're seeing the mechanics in line, not tipping pitches, all these things. He was really in his head, because I can tell you just talking to Tanner Scott throughout the season, it was always this thing or that thing, and you could just see it kind of mounting. So I do love the presence of Edwin Diaz because it takes some pressure off him. Now, other guys in that bullpen that we'll talk about. So for the opening day roster, the left-handed relievers, you got Tanner Scott, you got Alex Vesia. Vesia was one of the spring standouts. He looked fantastic. It's going to be a really big year for Jack Dreyer.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, you think about it, go, oh, yeah, we have Jack Dreyer. The lefties in the bullpen, including Robleski, that's just a great left side. Oh my gosh. It's great. I mean, Vesey has been a straight fire in spring training. And, the right side is, Diaz, and then the rest of them are kind of, okay, Trinan. Hopefully he can recover. Will Klein had his moment. Let's see. Hope he continues. Edgardo got off to a horrible start. And then we got Kasparius. So there's a lot of depth there. And there's plenty of guys sitting in the minors, including shout out to Christopher Campos, a guy I met his first day when he was at Rancho. It's kind of cool. It's like, who are you? What's your name?
Go back.
Yeah, that was great. So Campos is, he was great. And there's, just kind of looking at my depth chart. We got Brock Stewart coming back. Kyle Hurt, I kind of got a little upset with that one. Paul Gervais, there's plenty of guys there. Maybe Bruzdar is alive. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. I mean, for Bruzdar, it's just kind of one of those things where you just have to wait and hope. And then when he gets back, you have to hope that he stays on the mound. Clearly, they weren't happy with just physically how he was, and not his fault or anything. I talked to him. He told me, hey, he lost a lot of weight. And what do you think he told me was that he woke up and it hurt to walk. Well, that was the reason why he lost the weight. And I was like, wow. I mean, that kind of tells you kind of physically how he's feeling. So we know what Bruzdar is. I think that Bruzdar is a guy that if he gets right, well, this team uses 40 pitchers a year. And these guys are going to get their opportunities. You look at the right-handed relievers, Edwin Diaz, Blake Trinan, Ben Kasparius, Will Klein, Edgardo Henriquez. First guy that really stands out in that group that I think has the most to gain this season is Will Klein. And he's talked a lot this offseason. We had him on the show, and for a right-handed pitcher, he told us that it's getting right-handed batters out that's kind of the trick for him, which I think is pretty interesting. He talked a lot about changing his slider grip. Him and Connor McGinnis working on it all off season, where he uses the curveball grip, but he rotates the baseball 90 degrees and he gets more horizontal movement. So that's going to be the biggest key. Is he's got velocity. He's got impressive life on that fastball, but if he can use that pitch to get out right-handed hitters and really both sides, quite frankly, I mean, he's a big dude that hopefully, like, he's on the Evan Phillips type of tier, right? Where it's like, we got him, no one knew about him, no one cared about him, and all of a sudden he had his moment, and then he's a dude that's just one of your better relievers for the next 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, are you high on Will Klein? Do you think that he can build on what he did in Game 3 of the World Series?
So, yeah, with Will Klein, we saw just amazing things from him at the end of the season, and then he goes to the playoffs or into the World Series, pitches for the most iconic innings of Dodger history, and it just seems like he's got some confidence. He's proven now he's coachable, too, by making the adjustments that he needed to make. That's what you mentioned it earlier. Evan Phillips is kind of a guy that maybe that's what we get. Evan Phillips came from Tampa for us, which, even for them to give up on him, and we got him. Dodgers did their thing, the Connor McGinnis and all that whole pitching lab. So yeah, I'm fired up for Will Klein. See what he can do.
Yeah, and I think too for him, is him like a Robleski type. Like, all those guys have that badge of honor from being a part of the World Series that they can lean on, they can go to when they need something to get them through a stretch. It's like, hey man, like, I've done on the big stage, and we know that the longer you play, usually it's going to test you because you're going to get game plan for, you're going to have your slumps. But I mean, I look at this bullpen, and the biggest question I think of any of the guys on here is not even any of the young pitchers. I mean, Edgardo Henriquez, we know that, yes, the velocity's there, but he doesn't have above average strikeout rates, but still, he's had his moments. I think the biggest question mark here is Blake Trinan. Yeah. And there was good Blake, there was bad Blake last year. Sometimes from year to year, he can struggle. I think my hope for Blake Trinan is that last year, you could probably chalk it up for what he did in 2024 and leaning on him throughout that postseason run. The question I have, though, is can you really trust him for 6 months? You almost have to bake in some time on the IL throughout this season. But what do you want to see from Blake Trinan early on the season, Tim?
Yeah, I just walks. Keep the walks down. And just to have some more of his command. Now we know he's got the video game stuff. Even last year with the video game stuff, though, he was missing a lot, and so he wasn't able to take advantage of what he can do. Because you're missing too much, you're not going to get the swing and miss. So I'm with you on that. I see a good 2 months on the IL being perfect for him, with a nice rehab assignment at Ontario with the Tower Buzzers. That'd be cool. But yeah, I still have hopes for him. He's got a nice contract, so they're not just going to give up on him. And plus, there's a loyalty there. They don't win 2020. They don't win 2024 without the guy.
No doubt about it. I mean, the veteran presence. I mean, you had Hudson a couple years ago. I mean, you kind of need that vet in the pen. And Edwin Diaz, he's a vet, but it's his first year. Ben Kasperi is young. Will Klein, young. Yardy Enriquez, young. Vesey, I think, has grown into a leader. Tanner Scott, I think if he has success, could have that impact. But I think Blake Trinan, his intangibles in that bullpen, him and Josh Bard and the rest of that group, I think that's also a valuable weapon as well. Look, here's the thing. I mean, I was talking to the pitching ninja. He's like, dude, like, Blake Trinan, I've studied every pitcher. And Blake Trian's when he's right, he's the nastiest dude. And it's kind of wild to think. And the pitching ninja told me a story where he told Connor McGinnis that Blake Trinan is the nastiest guy. And Connor McGinnis was like, could you do me a favor and tell Blake Trinan that? Because sometimes we feel like he doesn't think that. So it just goes to show that the mental side of this, the confidence side of this is always a factor as well. Now, as far as the rotation, Tim, Yoshi, Glasnow, Roki, Sheehan, Robleski. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, no notes, nothing to talk about. If he's healthy, we know he's going to just pitch incredibly well. The big talking point, if you had to really pick the number one storyline outside of just Shohei Ohtani existing, it's Roki Sasaki. I call it the Roki coaster, and he's had his ups and downs. What is your take on Roki Sasaki? I think the first thing I want to ask you about Roki before is, should he be on the opening day roster, or should it be someone like a River Ryan?
It should be River Ryan. It's clear. It's clear. But there's more into it. You know, we know that the Dodgers want to do some things. There might be some agreements about this. There might be don't make the Japanese fans mad or yet make them or maybe they're just going, maybe he's being stubborn about something. And they go, okay, you're going to be like that. We're going to throw you out there. So there could be a million things, but the bottom line, I was listening to someone else earlier, and the guy's like, hey, he doesn't need a third pitch. He needs to get a second pitch working. That fastball has to be better. And so if he wants to be a two-pitch pitcher, you can be a two-pitch pitcher to a point, but that second pitch needs to be really good. And right now his fastball is not good. And if he can't get if he can't spot the fastball, they're just going to sit there and they're going to sit. They're not going to sit it. They're going to swing any of the splitter stuff. They're just going to sit there and go, okay, I think you're going to throw 4 balls before you throw me 3 strikes.
Exactly, for sure. And I think my hope for him is there's no doubt about that. Yes, you need fastball command. Sandy Koufax said himself, best pitch is a well-located fastball. And if he doesn't have that, there's not even worth going to step 2, right? I mean, the opponent's hit 137 off that forkball. It's not going to matter if he's walking guys, hitting guys, if the bases are low, the pitch count's high, all these things. At some point, it's either going to be a short outing, even if he had higher strikeout rates, or he's going to get hit. And the way I look at it for him is, he needs to just wake up and say enough's enough and be the guy that he's destined to be, or accept the fact that maybe he's not 100% ready for this opportunity at the big league level and say, let's take a step back to take 2 or 3 steps forward. And that step back would be a couple months at the AAA level where I'm getting strikeouts with a cutter, a bullet slider, a 2-seamer, something to get right-handed hitters out in front of things. Like, he needs to be able to go on the mound and know exactly what is happening and how he's executing. And right now, there's just this, hey, we're going to hope that today's the day. Maybe today will be the day that the fastball command is there. Maybe today is the day where that third pitch is going to exist. And yeah, absolutely. In fact, you can't talk about a second or third pitch unless you have fastball command. But I think that you're 100% correct. Here's the thing though. And Tim, I actually do want to ask you about this because everyone's saying, oh, it's because part of the recruiting process was we're going to make sure that Roki Sasaki knows we're going to give him runway as a starter. Yes, that might be true, but it's also true that the Dodgers understand his ceiling and his potential. Like,
Amen.
He's got too much potential to try him as a reliever this early on in his career.
Yeah, and I've said that a lot because on my show, it's a put him in the bullpen, and go. No. They're gonna try this for 2 or 3 years before they permanently put him in the bullpen. That doesn't mean he won't be in the bullpen by September this year, but they have to. There's too much upside, and the thing is, where did it go? There were some stats, before his injury in 2023 and after 2023, everything dropped and it never came back in terms of velocity and all those types of things. So he might not be 100%.
So that's what I've been saying. I mean, so this is
you have been, yeah.
In the post-game show a couple of days ago after his start, we watched the Dave Roberts thing live, essentially right after it drops, and everyone's asking about Roki Sasaki. And I was like, how come no one asked him that the velocity it dropped 4 miles per hour during the course of a game? And for a pitcher that's healthy, I mean, you can chalk that up to bad mechanics occasionally, right? But to me, it screams like a guy that's overthrowing early in his starts and that he's just trying to desperately find it because he knows that. I mean, if you look at his highlights from Japan, it's like he looks like a different pitcher. Mm-hmm. I mean, it almost looks like Noah Syndergaard's best days to what he looked like with the Dodgers at times. Like, I mean, I know that's harsh, right? But I mean, when I'm talking about a velocity differential there, as far as and just overall run in life on the fastball too. So, I mean, there's got to be something there that he's either fighting through, and obviously, if these guys are out there, you have to just assume they're healthy enough to pitch. But I would not be shocked down the line if we find out at some point that he just wasn't right physically. And I respect the fact that, look, I mean, this is a guy that his expectations for himself, I think, are higher than anyone, even externally, right? Like, he wants to be the best pitcher in baseball. And I think that he doesn't want to just kind of wave the white flag on the early part of his career, but we're going to need to see it. We're going to see it. My hope too is, Tim, is like he needs a Mike Borzello moment. And of course, I know you know what I'm talking about, is when Mike Borzello taught Clayton Kershaw the slider, or even we saw, remember when Andrew Heaney, like it was the tune-up game before the season and he found the sweeper. Like sometimes there's this like moment here, this moment there where a third pitch just clicks and then you take off. So Roki needs a moment like that too.
Yeah, concur. And he's a guy that even let's say that he is a little bit hurt. And the Dodgers could go, we want you to have surgery. He could say, no, I want to keep working through this. No one has a right to tell him you're going to have surgery. He doesn't have to do it. So even if they want him to, they think it would improve him, he doesn't have to do it. So maybe he thinks he can work through it. That's one of my theories, that they want him to have it, and maybe he doesn't.
If Roki Sasaki was pitching as well as River Ryan did in spring training, who's on the opening day roster, right? Who's in the rotation to start the year?
Yeah,
it's River Ryan.
Wait, say that again. Oh,
if did I freeze?
No. I got confused on what you said.
Oh no, I was just saying that if Roki Sasaki was performing like River Ryan, we'd be so excited about Roki Sasaki that we'd be saying, well, this guy's the potential to win the Rookie of the Year this season.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I also think that River Ryan has a chance to be the Rookie of the Year. He's still a rookie, and he shined, man. That dude looking good. Did we ever figure out the seventh pitch, though?
I mean, he said it was going to be obvious. I don't think that it really became clear. I'll ask him that tomorrow. But, I mean, no, I won't, because he's not on the team. He should be. Maybe I'll DM him that tomorrow, possibly. But what do you think that for River, it's just slow playing a guy coming off Tommy John surgery, knowing that he's ultimately going to get 10 to 15 starts, hopefully? Or do you think he's going to get even more than that this season?
Well, he's definitely looks. He reminds me of when Sheehan came back last year. He was ready to go. His Tommy John recovery was really good, And Sheehan actually told me at FanFest that he was really fired up for River Ryan. He thinks, yeah, my rehab went so well. I think River's going to have a great season. And I'm all in on that. And but slow playing, that's fine. I mean, we still remember he hasn't been pitching that long. And he's had a lot of interruptions in his career already. So the amount of innings that he has is very low. And in college, he was a reliever, not a starter. So, yeah, I just think I'm a huge believer in him, though.
I feel like River Ryan, by the way, we call him the LA River because he's nasty. And the River Ryan, I think, trajectory this season, and I hate to say this because you just never know what's going to happen, but like it almost feels like he's destined to make big time postseason starts. Like just when the dust settles, hopefully everyone stays healthy, right? If they do, then you're not gonna have this problem. But it almost feels like the path for River Ryan is like this guy can throw 100 and throw 6-7 pitches, like you were saying. Like this guy's got that kind of electricity and stuff where you say to yourself, like, maybe this dude could be like a secret weapon, X factor type of pitcher where, yeah, of course that they wanted to stack this deck with aces and they've done that, but it's not like you're going from, I mean, as far as upside potential, right? He's made 4 big league starts in his career, right? So let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but sometimes you can just like see it with guys, right? And like Bobby Miller early on, like Landon Knack early on, like even Gavin Stone, I think he had some special moments too. But I think that when it comes to true upside potential, River Ryan's stuff, it's very, very electric. And I think it would play up in a postseason environment. Everything worked out for him.
Yeah, I agree. And he's also, I mean, he's 27 and he's mature, but he's a great athlete. And I think he's got it, as my friend Richie from DeVore would say, he's got mental toughness. So I think he's got the heart that it takes to also do what you're talking about. I mean, the guy came right into a pennant race in 2024 and did not disappoint. The only disappointing thing was when he had to leave the game because of his injury. Everything else was phenomenal, and he was making great progress. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. We talk about the big names, but River Ryan, I think, is going to be a very important part of if they go back to back to back. I think he's going to be part of it.
I agree. I think to him and Justin Robleski, I think what have you seen kind of with the rise of Robleski?
Man, it's awesome. I mean, there was those games like in 2024 in Arizona, one of the last starts of the season where he gave up like 8 runs and had to wear it. And he had a little bit of mixed things here and there, but then to see what he did in the playoffs, where Doc trusted him in that game 7. Doc said it. He only had a handful of pitchers that he was going to use in game 7, and one of them was Justin Robleski, and he performed too. And so, yeah, I man alive. I think he could be an elite reliever. Someone a couple years ago on my channel said in the chat said I think he has Josh Hader type capability as a reliever. I can see that now. Just not as ugly.
Facts, exactly right. Chicks dig Justin Robleski, right? That's what I've seen here. But yeah, I mean, look, hits 96. I mean, he misses barrels at an elite level. Just that downward tilt, the life on the heater, the way he can hit quarters. I mean, yeah, I think Robleski. I mean, it's like Jack Dreyer does a lot on the mound where he can miss bats in the zone, which is definitely a very valuable skill. But yeah, there's young pitchers on this team that I think are going to have to contribute. I mean, there's guys on this team that are making $30 million a year that I think are going to have massive roles for this team. And you'd like to see that infusion of youth. But all right, Tim, we're going to do some quick hitter stuff right here. And don't worry, guys, we're going to have Tim Rogers on the show all season long. And of course, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to his channel, The Blue Madness. You guys just made a hire today. You brought someone in, right?
Yeah, Kiara Santana. She's works a bit with Fox. That's her full time, but she's Pete Soto recommended her. We talked with her on Monday night, and it was fantastic. So we hired her. Mike Salas and I hired her on the spot. She's going to do a lot, interviews and things like that. So we're very excited. Welcome aboard, Kiara. Keep your eye open for her. She's great.
Love it. Love it. All right. So, breakout player of the year. Who you got?
I guess I'm gonna. Some would say he's not a breakout. I'm gonna go River Ryan, just because of the time off. Yeah, that's who I'm gonna go with.
Cy Young out of the bullpen. Who's going to be the bullpen Cy Young this year?
Alex Vesia.
Ooh, that'd be great. I like that pick.
And it's not, and it's no shade on Diaz at all. I just think Vesia is. He's got something. It's going on. He's got a bigger cause.
Pitcher Cy Young starter.
18.
The innings are. He pitched a lot last year. I'm going Shohei, but
who'd you say?
I'm going Shohei.
And that's definitely right on the list. And I am concerned about Yamamoto's the workload, but learning more about his training, and now Mookie's doing it.
The training too. The training is wild. All right, home runs for Shohei Ohtani.
60.
You going 60. 60. 60 home runs, and not a big wins and loss guy, but you want to go 20 wins too, or what's the pitcher wins on him?
No, 10 wins.
10 wins for Show?
Yeah. Not, and it just because not again, I think he's gonna have an ERA of under 3, and he's gonna pile in stuff, but I think they're gonna still kind of limit his innings a bit here and there, not take any chances. Pitch count gets high, he's not gonna go that far. It's just more of an opportunity thing.
This is kind of, I know you're Mr. Positive, right? I know you're Mr. Positive, but biggest disappointment.
Oh, for this season? Jeez.
You can get creative. I have creative ways to get around this one sometimes.
It's gonna be rough. Say it one more. Biggest disappointment? Dave Roberts.
Oh my, all right.
No, I love Dave. That dude. He's become a Hall of Famer. Dino Evil third.
Dino Evil. Yeah, hey, I do get a Dino Evil text from you occasionally. All right. Best. It's tough for rookie, but yeah, I think you already kind of said who your rookie of the year is going to be, right?
Yeah, River Ryan. Yeah.
How many wins for the Dodgers?
102.
102. Not going crazy there. That seems about right. Who's going to be the role player of the year for the Dodgers?
I think it's going to end up being Kike again, even though he's going to miss the first couple months.
So we're thinking just postseason included, right?
No, of course, yeah. But I just and the way the Dodgers stack up, they might not need him to start in the postseason, which would be, if it's that good, I love it. But Kike is going to play a role, and I'm a big believer in that guy.
Are you ready for this one? No wrong answer here. No pressure. Who will the Dodgers trade for this season? I mean, this is only one you'll get credit for if you call it right, because I'll go back and I'll play this clip, but we'll totally forget if you get it wrong.
It's going to take some bad things happening, but Tarek Skubal, let's go.
You want your Skubal snacks.
That's right. That means the Tigers have to fall apart.
I see it. And what if Clayton Kershaw told me, he said, if something weird happens, right? I mean, what's the weird? Lots of injuries, right? You get the call in July, you're done calling those games, that body clock's calling you. I don't know. All right, percentage chance that Kersh pitches this season for the Dodgers?
0.01.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Exactly.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right. World Series opponent. I'm assuming you have the Dodgers going to the World Series, right?
Yes, for sure.
Imagine if you said they lose in the wild card round. Like, that would just really kill the vibe of the show. But all right, Dodgers are in the World Series. Who do you think their opponent is going to be?
Seattle Mariners.
And Dodgers in?
Against Mariners, 5.
World Series MVP?
He's going to pull through this time. It'll be Shohei Ohtani.
The Shohei MVP year. Hey, we got to go back, actually. NLCS MVP, too. I mean, NLCS opponent, NLCS MVP.
Oh, NLCS opponent. Geez. I don't know. I'm gonna go a little bit. Nah, I was about to say Braves, but their pitching's falling apart already. I'm gonna say bounce back from the Phillies. Zach Wheeler gets healthy, so it'll be them.
I feel like we need that matchup. I feel like that's a matchup that's been long overdue. Of course, we don't talk about those matchups in the 09s and 10s, but of course and
the thing is, over the last few years, the team that scared us the most was the Phillies most of the time.
Yeah, and last year was I think last year was that was electric. I mean, to start that off, but I think it's overdue to have like a Dodgers Padres where it's multiple rounds. Dodgers Phillies kind of see each other. Like that was such a great, highly competitive. I mean, we said it that whoever won that series can win the World Series. That's what happened. So I want to see that. I'm kind of hoping the Padres. I mean, just to beat them one more time. 2022 still really stings for me, so I kind of hate to see that. But you got Dodgers win the World Series. Who do you have as the? Do you have a league MVP? Is it going to be Shohei? Not even a question here.
No, I'm going to go with Teo, like I picked 2 years ago.
All right, I like that. All right, how about this? How about this one? Is for this season, who do you have as the Dodgers or the Dodgers bounce back player of the year? Is it going to be Mookie? Is it going to be Teo? Is it going to be Scott? Who you got your bounce back player?
Yeah, it's almost a time of the day thing. I have to bet on Mookie, even though I got Mookie and Teo kind of almost tied with that. I mean, Teo's in great shape. You see that Mookie's getting better at shortstop. I mean, my goodness. And I like the fact he is doing the Yoshinobu workout. I think that's great. I think it's only going to help him. And not everyone can do that, but he's a smallish guy like Yamamoto, and so I think getting that flexibility is going to only help him. And I'm looking forward to seeing 30 home runs from Mookie Betts again.
I like that. Give me 30 bombs from Betts. Okay, last question here, Tim. It hasn't happened since 1963. Are we finally going to get another World Series wearing the home whites at Dodgers Stadium? Yes, I know if you have home field advantage, you take the first two. It's better if you have a short series. I get all that. But at some point, we need to see a Dodgers World Series at Dodger Stadium. Are we going to be able to get to experience that this season, Tim Rogers?
So based on my predictions, I would be contradictory if I said yes, because I said the Dodgers are going to win 102 and they're going to play the Mariners.
The Mariners are going to win, though.
Yeah, but they're going to take the Mariners in 5. And so that'll be in game 5 in Seattle.
That's right. It's happening again. So
the Dodgers are going to they're going to win their division and they're going 102. They'll probably have the best record in baseball, which will give them home field advantage. The Mariners are going to be coming up. They're going to play the Mariners. They're going to take them in 5. And so that would be game 5 in Seattle. I do have a friend up there, man. So if that happens, I'm going to be up there. That was one of the disappointments of last year. It's
a great park.
Yeah, I've never been up there. For
Dodger Stadium Field.
Huh?
Any issues with Uniqlo being the Dodger Stadium Field?
Just don't make it. Just don't take away from the Dodger Stadium thing. We'll see.
I have a solution to that, right?
What is it?
Just do a deal with Dodge, the car company, and you won't even be able to tell. Dodger Stadium. I mean, it's everyone gets paid, everyone's happy, right? But I have no issue with it because they're going to reinvest that money into the team.
Exactly. I mean, we've talked about this for years, Doug, about the investment and all that type of stuff. They're overachieving with all the spending that they've done. There's no way any of us would have suggested that they do what they've been doing. It's insanely good for us. And it is. I've been doing this since 73 as a Dodger fan. This is the best time to be a Dodger fan, in my opinion. This is amazing. And it's not over. That's the best part.
All right, Tim, very last question here. Which Blink-182 song would be your walkout song? What would be your walk-up?
can't be too profane because that wouldn't work. I still got to go somehow with Dumpweed because I just love that riff at the beginning. It's like Tom plays like 3 different riffs into it. I'm people can say, who's the greatest lead singer in the world? I'm going to say, well, first it's Robert Plant, but number 2 for me is Tom DeLonge. I'm sorry. I love that dude, man. I'm a huge fan.
Tom DeLonge, legend. Love it. Well, Tim, there we go. Special thanks, my man, Tim Rogers. Go subscribe to his channel and listen to his Dodgers show as well. We're running out of time, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto gets the ball tomorrow for the Dodgers. It'll be his 2nd straight season as the Dodgers opening day starting pitcher. He was the Dodgers opening day starter in Tokyo last year. But since 2000, how many can you name? Opening day starter, 2000, Kevin Brown. 2001, Chan-Ho Park. 2002, Kevin Brown. 2003, Hideo Nomo. 04, Nomo. 05, Derek Lowe. 06, Derek Lowe. 07, Derek Lowe. 08, Brad Penny. 09, Hiroki Kuroda. 2010, Vicente Padilla. And then 2011, Kersh. 2012, Kersh. 2013, 2012, Kersh. 2013, Kersh. 2014, Kersh. 2015, Kersh. 2016, Kersh. 2017, Kersh. 2018, Kersh. 2019, Hyunjin Ryu. 2020, Dustin May. Remember, he had that injury late. And then Kersh, 2021, Buehler, 2022, Julio Urias, 2023, Tyler Glasnow, 2024, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 2025, and soon to be 2026. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to be at the stadium doing a vlog for opening day. You can find me on Dodgers Collective as well. Myself, Jerry Hairston Jr., and Fabian R. Diet tomorrow morning, as well as Dodgers Dugout Live. I'm going to drop my bold predictions. I'm going to get my World Series picks. I'm going to do that all tomorrow. But tonight, don't forget, leave some baseballs out, leave some hot dogs out, leave some nachos out, leave a beer out for baseball Santa Claus because it's baseball Christmas Eve. See you guys tomorrow. The journey to the three-peat starts tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. Opening day. Get fired up. See you tomorrow. And remember, nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.